Don't you get tired of it, Truth Seeker? Here we are at the end of the year, and traditionally, at least for me, I'm sure for you too, it's somewhere along the course of your life, the end of the year was a time to evaluate. I realize it's all made up shit. It's not the end of the year, it's the end of the calendar year, but time goes on. There's no stop and start, and you know, how we measure time is how we measure time. Planet doesn't give a shit about that. The planet has its cycles and it does certain things at certain times, and the earth rotates and the earth wobbles and the earth continues its circuit of the sun, but it doesn't consider, oh, this is December 31st. But we do, don't we? And traditionally for me and an awful lot of people that I know or have come in contact over the course of my life, the end of the year was when one would pause and take a look back and take note, perhaps, of the events that occurred that affected one's life or one's immediate circle, whether those events were good or painful, whether they were joyful or sad. But there would be that period of reflection. And then immediately on the heels of that, if possible, if the tragedies of the year just passing away were not so horrific as to make a person feel there was no future, like what happens to refugees from war who have seen 2 or 3 of their children blown into chunks of bone and gristle. If the previous year's tragedies were surmountable, then there was a part of each individual look forward. Look forward. Which is an imaginary enterprise because there is no forward. There is a past because we can see and still feel, and we have memories, but there's no forward. There's a past and there's now. You can't, I mean, the future is a concept, but it's imaginary. I mean, I'm in the future from the moment we started the podcast tonight, if you want to go back to the beginning of the podcast and measure forward. But I'm in the here and now, and so are you. I don't know when you're listening to this. We're recording it December 28th, but I don't know when you're going to listen to it. Whenever it is, though, it'll be in the future. But it really won't. It'll be in the immediate now. Oh, screw this. What I'm trying to say is there is no future, but human beings have had this propensity to hope. And hope requires future. You can't hope in the present. You can't, because the present is now. You can't hope for the past, it's already past. But the future, hope for the future. Hope, hope, hope. But this year, for me, I don't know, maybe it's just a function of my life or residue of my life. I don't know, but how about you? Are you looking forward in your imagination? Are you thinking forward as to what you might want to see happen or what you might want to attain? What you might hope to see in your children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews? You know, are you looking forward? I'm having a hard time doing that this year. Because as soon as I look forward, even though I have beaucoup reason to look forward, I've got kids, I've got grandkids. And my looking forward is kind of projecting what I hope happens to them in the future, in this imaginary place called the future. But it is extremely difficult for me this year to do that. Is it for you? I just wonder how it is for the people who hear this podcast. If you are approaching New Year's Eve, which is what, Monday night, I think? And if you're thinking about what's to happen next year, the calendar year approaching. See, nothing's approaching. The calendar year as we measure it. And whether or not you're having difficulty doing that. Because I damn sure am. And that's another effect from this pig, this President Pig in the White House. It's when you become aware. Let me change the pronoun. When I become aware of the destruction that he is perpetrating against this country and the people of this country, not to mention the rest of the world. I mean, America is not an island, regardless of what the native people thought. This is not an island. We are all interconnected. It doesn't make any difference what Trump and these Christian devil, white fucking supremacist Klan people think. We are all interconnected. And I don't mean just humans. There's a web of life. We're just part of it. Every fucking tree, your kidneys, somebody who lives in Samoa, a fish swimming around somewhere in the Arctic Ocean, it's all connected. Make America great again. Give me a fucking break. It's all connected. And when you realize that connection, or I should say, wrong pronoun again, when I realize that connection is being destroyed, it's being destroyed. That web of life, it's as though Trump has a bloody dagger and he's just slicing through that web of life. Symbolized by his fucking wall. I find it difficult to look to the future and think, oh, good things are going to happen. Yay! Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.